Hello. You know what day of the week it is? It's that Thursdays. We talking that tech. I'm here with my boy Chris.
What up? What up?
I got a special guest tonight, and I'm super excited for him to be here. He's OG. I can't believe I'm even saying this. He's
I know.
OG Colorado at this point, especially considering he started after 09.
I did.
Coming
I'm an
from
11er.
Wow, yeah, 2011. We're here with my boy IFFS Justin, Prince of the Coffee. You know him so well. We just call him Justin. He's one of the few people I think that are actually like in the Colorado FGC that are just first name Justin.
Yeah. I never really cared for like whole like tags and shit. You get like Kevin, for instance, Wombo Combo 125. I'm like, that's too much shit, man. Can I curse? I didn't even think that.
Yeah, you could curse.
Okay.
Let's keep it to a minimum, but definitely don't come in guns blazing. But we're all right with it. This is not a this. I don't mock these up and put kids videos.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So
We're not
It's
we're not
FGC, you know what
Coco-Melanin
it
up
is.
here.
yeah,
I figured
what it is.
I figured I'd ask just in case. Like
And
I
if
said,
not, I can always do fun and stuff over the curse words.
hell yeah.
So
That's a
for
good
people
way to-
that don't know, Justin, I mean, let's be honest, this man pretty much ran Marvel 3 when it was like peak Colorado times. I mean, I know Denver was pretty salty because Springs, we'd only run up with 8 people and we'd come home with half the tournaments.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, you got double the population as the Springs and we were still holding it down. So originally when I met Justin, he was actually playing, he was a big World of Warcraft player.
I remember that.
He was godlike at he's got the tattoo, perfect timing, see. But he was also godlike at Rock Band, which a lot of people don't know as well. So I met him through his brother Kevin, and originally I was just kind of like, I don't know. Let me ask you this: so
Sure.
what eventually got you into fighting games?
I think it was mostly because my dad would make me take Kevin to fighting game events, and everybody being so nice to me at first, definitely was like, oh, this is a cool community of people that like want me to be here. And then they realized who I was related to, and they're like, I don't have to come anymore. But then I wanted to because I was like, well, I'm already here, and I like some of these people. So
Yeah, I
that
think
was
there's growing pains to all of it. So
100%. There's tons of people that we'll probably get into it that I did not like for the longest time. That I'm like, oh, that person, I love this person. I invited them to my wedding. Yada yada yada. Like some shit like that. You always
it's hard too though because like a lot of times when you don't interact with these people, you only see them when you go to a tournament.
yeah.
So you see, and for people that don't know, I feel like tournament personalities are different versus like out of tournament. Like in tournament, I'm probably one of the biggest shit talkers. I've never been great, but like I'm always gonna have all my dudes' backs,
Oh yeah. 100%.
kind of thing. And then there's people like Recon who's just like, yo, that dude doesn't give a shit regardless. Tournament, outside of tournament.
Yeah. He called my mom ugly. So I mean, that was. Yeah. He told me my whole family was ugly. My mom was ugly. My dad was ugly. I'm like, damn. I'm 17.
But if you know Recon, he's like one of the most genuine fucking dudes ever.
Right.
Like he's
So he
gonna be
genuinely
standing
met
at
your
my
mom was
wedding
ugly.
He genuinely meant my family was ugly. I was like, oh, fuck.
No. So I'm gonna tell you something from my perspective, and I'm curious what your thoughts on it, because like I remember when Justin wasn't playing fighting games, I still hung out with him and stuff, and we'd come over and I'd be like, oh, that's, you know,
He'd be
that's why you don't
downstairs
play
playing
fighting
Street Fighter
games.
4, and he'd be upstairs on the PC
Yep.
doing raids.
And I'm like, man, you just be happy that you're playing WoW so I can't bust your ass. And then eventually he stopped playing WoW and proceeded to bust my ass. So yeah, karma.
Yeah,
If you don't believe in it.
it was
There.
I probably would have played World of Warcraft longer if TJ would have played it longer, but he quit. So then it was me by myself, and like it's just not a fun game to like play without other people, you know. So it was a mixture of like that, not having someone to play with consistently, and then having this huge community of people that were friendly to be like, oh, why play this when I can go be social and go learn this whole new thing? And it was just super exciting, honestly. Pretty cool.
Yeah. I agree. And I think that's like the one good thing that like I think there's two, I mean, there's a ton of good things for fighting games, but I think like two of the things that come to mind is like you just said, you can play by yourself. you never have to worry about like FPSs or something along those lines where you're requiring a team.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, we have a 4 or 5 stack playing, and only 2 people showed up, and then now you're like, cool. So how are we scrimming for this? What's the plan? So on and so forth.
Yeah.
Versus fighting games, you just jump on and play when you want.
Yeah, 100%. It's more catered to like, it's really good when you're younger because you have so much free time and you can do whatever you want to do. And as an adult that has a job and a career and a family, it's like you can kind of pick like, oh, I'm going to pick an hour here to play. I'm going to pick an hour on Wednesday after work. It's like you have that availability, and it's very easy to just get in and play and get your practice in like very quickly, I guess.
Yeah,
completely. It's more flexible.
Yeah. And I think the second best thing about it is like, I know a lot of people have a very competitive nature to them, especially when it comes to like video games or hobbies and things of that nature. And I think it's like a gift and a curse when it comes to fighting games, because fighting games are very competitive, but like the difference between them and, similar, competitive esports type of games is it's just you versus the world.
Yeah.
And I think that's also why sponsorships in fighting games are kind of weird, because like you watch League of Legends or Rainbow Six or whatever game, and they have a team. It's like, oh, Team Liquid, versus like when you go to a tournament and it's like, bro, I love Justin Wong. Am I gonna rock Justin Wong merch like his esports team?
I mean, are you? I don't know. You
I mean, I probably would, but like
I'm
it's
pretty
hard.
sure. I think he has like his. I thought you were joking. He has his like own.
Oh, I know, bro.
Oh,
I
say,
did stuff for him when I was at GameStop.
Say,
So
do you get a J Wong Nation jersey, bro?
I would love to have one. Jay Wong, you listening? I mean, holla at your boy.
I think it's really hard when you see stuff like that, like specifically for fighting games. You're like, I wouldn't wear this person's merch, and then you have a player that you're like, that's my guy.
Yeah.
I would wear a hat for him, a shirt. Like I do that shit too, because I was very like, I'm not gonna wear merch of these people I want to beat.
100%.
If John came out with a T-shirt, I'm rocking that 100%, 110%.
I could rock like for example, I can fuck with a team, and like but if it was like someone else's name in front of my name, like there's a one-off, yeah. But as a team, could I really be Team J Wong for real? That's still so weird to be like J Wong.
Yeah, and I think that's why like, you saw teams like Team Echo Fox. Team Echo Fox came out and was like running the world. Like, let's be honest, like they had all the killers when they, when it was peak Echo Fox. But it was like, I mean, you go to tournaments, you just don't see people rocking Echo Fox merch and stuff, and that's what like. It's like, when you're a musician and you drop albums, you're not making money off the album. You're making money off tours and merch and things like that. So it's like, it's hard to keep that sustainability for esports and things like that. And that's why like Marauders is a little bit different, because I'm like sitting here, preaching this, and this whole cast is based off Marauders and a team. But like, ours was more community focused, and
I think
I would have loved to sponsor some players too, though. Hint, hint.
I know we're on like a little bit of a tangent, but I do think like that's why, and I don't know if they're like really still around, but like the way UIU did it based versus the way the other teams will do it, where UIU made it seem like it was more of like a lifestyle brand, and these players were more ambassadors more than just sponsor this team and support the team, like because the FGC isn't big enough to be like, I'm supporting the Miami Heat, so I'm buying a Miami Heat jersey, versus you're really supporting your favorite player. I don't care about Liquid or who's it, Moist or any of those. I'm supporting my player. I'm supporting the favorite player. So it's definitely different for like if you got some UIU merch, you probably like, I just mess with that design, and it's FGC related. So now it's way different than what we still plan to talk about. But I do think people, they got to kind of figure out a difference between just sponsor players and promoting a lifestyle brand.
Yeah,
I actually
go ahead.
Sorry, my bad. I actually think you have a good point there, Chris. Is with the UIU merch, it's like it's merch you could wear anytime. Like if it's really good merch, it's like a good design or whatever. Like you can rock it anytime, but you're not gonna go out to like fucking Walmart with a Team J Wong jersey on. At least I'm not going to. I'm not. Or like anything like that.
Like, unless it's laundry day. I wanted your Hosey jersey, and one day it was laundry day, and I had none else. And she had just got engaged, so I was like, I guess I'm gonna wear this Yehozy jersey I won and I never wore, because again, it feels weird to have another person I'm trying to beat's name on my back. It's like it doesn't feel weird to have a basketball player on my back. I'm supporting them. I'm not in their field, none of
Yeah,
that. But
Yeah.
to be like, I got this Yehozy jersey, it felt so weird.
yeah.
Like I
You see,
just,
like, yeah, I get it. Like, I'm a huge Cloud9 fan. Anybody that knows me, like, and the reason I'm a Cloud9 fan is because I love their branding. So, being a graphic designer, most of the time when I fall in love with companies, it's because, like, I'm a huge Nike fan because, like, I just love the swoosh and, like, what it symbolizes in the branding. And a lot of their designs that they do is, like, reminds me a lot of myself, just a very bold, confident designer because I feel like design's supposed to be fun and along those lines. So it's like, oh, I'm a Mango fan. I know that's Smash, but it's still like, would I rock a Mango jersey? Probably not. Would I rock a Cloud9 hoodie or jersey? Yes. Like, I don't
Oh, for
know
sure.
me going out and buying that individual player kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
so I think this kind of rolls us into like a good question, and I would actually love to hear like both of your guys' kind of thoughts on this because I don't think I've ever actually asked Chris this. So you guys both play several different fighting games. Like, what's your favorite style of game, and what's your all-time favorite FGC game?
Chris, you can go first if you want to.
ooh, let me think. My favorite style of game. That's tough. Um, I think overall, I think Grand Blues fits a good middle ground. It's not my favorite game, but I think the system is one of or close to my favorite system. Actually, you know what? Melty Blood. Melty Blood is probably not my favorite game ever at all, but and that's because it's not the emotion isn't tied to it, but the way the system works, there's a good middle ground between ground-based and air-based. There's the movement that I like, so that if I got to move through the sky, everything like that. But there's still footies because counter hits are a big deal in that game, and there's Oki. Like it has everything that I enjoy. So I think Melty Blood as a system is probably my favorite. But overall, my favorite game, that's real
You
tough to
say
answer.
counter hits are big and melty. Are we screaming big like Strive? Like it covers the whole screen and says
It
counter.
does not.
They let you know.
Yeah, it does not buff up the whole screen, but counter like the way they call anime footsies and melties because everything's air based, but you have to play real footsies because if you get counter hit, you're untechable until you hit the ground. So if I counter
Ooh.
hit you, I hit the ground, I can run up, get a combo, and
Oh, that's
everything.
cool. Yeah,
So
I
you
never
like
knew that.
even though we're flying around, you can't just be like do whatever because if you get touched, you literally go psh, and you can't do anything. And if
Oof.
I'm gonna land, I'm gonna run up, I'm gonna hit
So
my
you're almost kind of
big.
like Tekken-y, like you're just floating in the air.
Yeah,
Like
you're
you
literally
can't do
just you get
anything.
hit and, until you hit the actual ground, you cannot tech. And so I'm
Wow.
already boom. I'm running like and literally my character run like that. She literally runs like this. So I'm going. And then you get a combo, and then you're in the corner, and you got to do it. So I think the system-wise, Melty Blood's probably my favorite fighting game ever. It's really tough for me to say. I'm probably gonna the nostalgia Third Strike has for me is always there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best game ever because there's always gonna be there's some stuff there. But favorite, I think Third Strike is my favorite. But yeah, my like system wise, like if I could pick a game and say yeah, every game should be based on a system like this, I'd pick Melty Blood. Probably Type Lumina just for the ease. I know some people don't like the shield system in that game, but just for overall, I'd say system wise that like really good because I think there's some not having air dashes sometimes like man that's so restrictive.
Yeah. Justin, your thoughts?
So I have, I guess, like three answers for it. So my favorite recent fighting game is definitely Strive. It's the first Guilty Gear that I ever played, and I didn't care for anything related to Guilty Gear until Testament came out. And I know this is like a completely different Testament. Like Old Testament was cancer, so it's like I got the nerfed baby Testament, but like I have not had that much fun in a long time playing a fighting game because it just everything Testament did was things that I really wanted a character to do. Um, with like the stain mechanic, the fireballs, the scythe, the attitude. I mean, everything about Testament is what made Guilty Gear a really fun game for me, and I took it very seriously for like 6-ish months. Um, and then the game
You
just
said
tanked.
this was your first Guilty Gear, and you said
Yeah,
you got the baby nerfed Testament. You got the
yeah.
baby nerfed Guilty Gear.
I did. Yeah, it is baby's first Fisher Price Guilty Gear, and I'm fine with that because I'm like, oh, this is great. Everyone's like, nah.
I
Plus
mean,
ours.
yes and
I'm
no.
like,
I mean, so, like learning it is, but they're like the wall and dealing with chaos and everything. I'm not gonna tell anyone be like, oh, you didn't play Guilty Gear when you don't. If you're still playing, if you're still playing right now, you're playing real Guilty Gear.
yeah,
But
I think
if you played
for
first two years maybe I said that once actually I wouldn't even say that when Chaos came out you were playing real Guilty Gear. If you stuck with it after Chaos came out, you were playing Guilty Gear. You dealt with a lot of the frustrations that we did back in the previous games.
Yeah, and my biggest complaint for Guilty Gear was just Chip. I Chip Testament was not fun. Chip Testament or Axel Testament were two matchups that I'm like, I would rather step on a mousetrap. Like I'm cool. So
which means a lot because Justin tends to not wear shoes, so that mousetrap is hurting.
I'm barefoot right now.
Like he's either barefoot or wearing sandals. Either way, a toe's getting got.
Yeah,
I know.
That's not a knock towards Strive. It was just like I actually think Strive's a fun game, and I actually enjoy it. It's just not Guilty Gear.
I just fell off and never caught back up. Like the good and bad thing about these days with patches is like, yeah, you get rid of stuff soon, but also the games move kind of quickly. So like, for example, I really haven't played in about 2 weeks really, and I know that when I jump back on, the game's more or less the same. I played Grand Blue once since the new patch came out, but like I know I'm playing pretty much the same game, even though I haven't played Street Fighter in probably for real like 2 weeks. Or 2-3 weeks, and I played Grand Blue like once since Winter Showdown. But I know once I get back on, it's the same game. With Strive, everything happened so quickly. It felt like I took a break after Akizumi, and then it was like, or not even Akizumi, whatever, because no, it was some tournament, and I did really well at Strive, so I wasn't dropping it. Just I was doing really well. I lost 2 tournaments, and I got second in those, so I was doing really well. And I just took a break, and next you know, it's like Chaos came out. All right, cool. Now it's a new patch, and the game's totally different, and they changed all this stuff. Then Biking came out, and like it was like, yeah, Testament was at like everyone came like everything moved so quickly. By the time I was like, damn, I gotta learn. It's like I'm learning a whole game all over. Do I want to? And then Chaos was Chaos, and so I was like, I guess I'll go ahead and bow out for now.
And that's why I want to redabble in Strive, because I do feel like every patch they are making improvements to the game. Because like my biggest complaint was definitely the damage. Like, yo, it was 2-touch. I was like playing Marissa the game, kind of thing. And like they've nerfed it slightly, so you actually have some comebacks and things along those lines. So, Go ahead, Justin. I know you said you have 2 other ones that you liked.
Yeah. So then my favorite genre, like of fighting games, are like it's just team-based games. Like I'm a team-based fighting game whore, 100%. You give me the ability to pick more than one thing, I'm in it. Except for Skullgirls, I don't fuck with it. I just don't. Never have, never will. Like I love that people still play it, and that's awesome. But it's just never. It's not for me.
Used to slap back in the day. I remember when you was in the chamber and that first dropped.
When it first dropped, I felt.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it was the game or people didn't really know how to play it yet or what. I don't know, but when it first came out, we was at my crib when I first apartment. People were coming over to play Skullgirls.
I think my biggest complaint with Skullgirls is I wish it wasn't a versus fighter. I wish it would have just been a 1v1 fighter.
I think that's my issue with most team games, which is I knew Justin was gonna say team games was his thing, but for me, most team games, my issue is that I can't find I usually cannot find 3 characters I equally enjoy. Usually 2 characters, and then I gotta fill out my team outside of a few games with like Dragon Ball, which come on, or even Marvel 3, and then Marvel 3 Ultimate came out, and I still never found a real team because the characters I love didn't work together.
Viper and Amy, wasn't
that
it?
one Magneto nerf made it so the team I really wanted to play didn't work anymore. So the entire time I was trying to find a team that worked, and I didn't want to play Doom.
Mags, Amy, right?
Yeah, and I didn't want to play Doom, and I just so stubborn, and that's how I know I can't just pick a top tier. Because I've tried. I tried to play just Doom, and I couldn't do it.
So my problem with Marvel 3, because let me rephrase that. My answer for my favorite fighting game is Marvel Infinite, which is like, why that game? I struggled that whole 10 years I played Marvel, being like, maybe I should play this character. Maybe I should play this character. And in the 7 months that Infinite was out, the second I touched the game, which is like a month before it came out, I was like, I'm playing Thanos Ultron, and that's it. And like, oh, you don't want to try that? Nope, I don't care.
Was Wolverine in Infinite?
No, which I probably, because of how much I liked Thanos Ultron, I probably wouldn't have played him. And it's like saying that's easier than doing that, of course, but I've never felt more complete in a fighting game with those two. Like those were like, that was like my dream team, 100%. They filled every box that I wanted a character to have, and then added shit that I didn't know I wanted. Like
Nice.
a good reference, or a good what's the word I'm thinking of? Good reference is like when I got my first car that I ever bought by myself. I went to the dealership and they're like, "What do you want in a car?" I'm like, "I want an air conditioner, windows that work." And they're like, "Oh, so you want regular stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then when I played Infinite, I was like, "These are the things I want." And then it's like, "Oh, here's Thanos' full screen eye beam and a teleport." I'm like, "Huh?"
That's a good analogy. That is a good
It's
analogy.
perfect.
Because as soon as I got a car with heated seats, I was like, I didn't know I wanted heated seats. I can never not have heated seats again.
Yeah. Now I just got a new car and has a backup camera. I'm like, pfft. They're like, "What do you need?" I'm like, "Well, I have to have a backup camera, heated seats. I have to have heated windshield." They're like, "Okay, this is fancy." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm
Heated
pampered now."
windshields. Oh, you must still live in Colorado.
Yeah, I'm not
Bro,
dealing with that. No, thank you.
once I found I didn't know for like 2 years that my car had remote start.
Really?
Yeah, I did not know
Wow.
yeah, I was going out there and brushing off snow when I didn't need to for now. And
Yeah.
I won't say I have to have that one now, but if especially we have a garage, but if we didn't have the garage and I wasn't driving my wife's car, I would definitely be like, next car I gotta have the remote start. I guess.
Bro, you
But
figured it out and it was like Aladdin. It's like a whole new
bro,
world.
I figured it out because of the pandemic. I like just real quick. I went and got my oil changed, and because they couldn't get in to reset the oil for me, because I literally during the pandemic, I literally just sat in the car while they changed the oil, and so like I have to roll out the window and be like, give me keys, all that. I
Yeah.
go and I have to look up how to reset my oil on YouTube. As I'm going through the settings, it said remote start on or off, and I was like, what is that? So I look up if I have remote start how to start. I'm like, this whole time I thought this button was like like I saw some people have like a roll down the window button. So I was like, oh, I thought that was what it was, and I just never figured out how to do it. And I press it, and my car turns on. I was like,
What kind of
oh,
car do you have?
I have a Saturn Aura.
There
Anyone
you
wants
go.
it, come by.
Anybody that owns a Saturn Aura,
Yeah,
you
check it.
probably have remote start.
Check it,
It's gonna be
y'all.
one guy.
Look at the
One
key
guy's gonna
fob.
be like, "It
The button
hasn't?"
looks like it's a circle with the arrow. That's why I thought it was. And I saw videos where people said if they press the button, certain models of cars, you press the button, it just rolls the window down. So I was like, oh, I don't need that. I don't care about that. And I just never looked at it again
I
until I
wish, bro.
happened to see that setting during the pandemic when I had owned a car like
I
4 or
wish we
5
had
years at
remote
that
start
point.
in Texas because it's the opposite. Because you get to your car and it's like 100+ degrees outside, and you're like, bro, that car's gonna be even hotter than this outside is.
Oh yeah.
And you're
See,
getting in and you're like, yo, just don't touch the seatbelt buckles. You're good. So you're like pulling it across, like,
Gotta wear the long. That's where they wear the long shorts in the South because you can't
oh,
get bare leg on that
right.
seat.
Right.
when I lived in Arizona, like I'm a weirdo because of this, but like when I'd get in my car and it was like 100 and whatever degrees, I loved it. I like it would give me goosebumps. It's such a stupid thing, but like I love the heat. So
That
In
makes
case you
being
like
guys
to
don't
be
know, this is
fair,
not a good thing.
this
it's good.
this makes plenty of sense because I mean
Yeah,
you wore shorts every time we see you.
Yeah.
I'm wearing shorts right now.
Yeah. All right. So I will address the question and we'll move on. I would say that oh man, I would say my favorite fighting game of all time is Third Strike. Even though like I never played it competitively, still to this day, I just enjoy the characters. I enjoy the direction they went. I thought Perry was cool. I love the usage of the 3 different super arts, and it was just a super fun game to watch, and it's ultimately what got me into fighting games competitively. Because I started like in '08, so like right before Street Fighter 4 came out, and met Chris, went to Play and Trade, and he waxed me, bro. It was really bad. But I would actually say my favorite fighting game, like system wise, is probably Street Fighter 6, and I think the
Wow.
reason is because it still has like frame traps and fundamentals of Street Fighter, but it's almost kind of like anime inspired. Like it doesn't have air dashes and stuff like that, but I like how you can like eliminate space between characters, and like you kind of watch it at like a high level, and you can like, you know, you see like players like Punk where they're like checking drive rushes and things like that. And it's like, I love games where you put the time in and it kind of rewards you. And I know Street Fighter 6 has some easy stuff to it, but I also love watching like, yo, this game is really good, but like the highest level of players can do stuff that a lot of people can't do, like checking drive rushes and, you know, things like that. And I think skill expressive like KOF like is great because it's so difficult to play that like I don't think I would ever play it seriously because it is. So that's like a gift and a curse because it's so hard to play that it's almost kind of a turn off kind of thing.
I
And
feel you.
like I don't want to short hop, bro. I'm awful at short hopping, and learning that execution to do it is just like
it takes a little bit, but that's, I think it's the combo of the difficulty and the team aspect. So
yeah.
because 15 is definitely the first time I put like real time into it outside of like MAME playing when I had on my keyboard because I didn't know converters existed. But outside of like 2000 KOF 2K2, that's the first time I put like real time into a KOF, and it was definitely that. Like I was like, okay, I love Rock, I love Vanessa. Now I just have a third, and the game's difficult, and I have to learn these motions and crazy combos
Yep.
for the character I don't even like that.
Yeah. Learning 3 characters, that I mean, it goes back to the versus kind of idea where it's like, yo, it's one thing to learn 3 characters, but it's one thing to learn 3 characters when the game is extremely hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never messed with KOF because I'm a fake Mexican person, 100%. Not good at it. I'm not gonna pretend like it. I don't like any of the characters at all. Not about it.
I don't know. I'm a sucker for characters because there's a lot of fighting games that like I don't play, but I really love the characters. Like MK has a lot of characters that I really like. Like Guilty Gear, like I have tons of Ram stuff, but I don't play Guilty Gear. I just like the character and like, oh, I played her when Strife first came out, and then I was like, I don't see myself sticking with this kind of thing. And that is always a difficult thing for like I am such a Capcom kid that like it's hard for me to like play other fighting games and like stay in those fighting games. So that's why I play like Street Fighter and Marvel and, you know, things like that. So it's characters I grew up on and it's characters I love and, you know, things along those lines. So I think this is gonna be a fun question. Might raise some heated debates because I know how Chris and I already feel about this. But you've dabbled in some arcade sticks. For people that don't know, let's rewind. We'll give some back history about a little bit before Justin. Justin was already playing, but let's give backstory on Chris and I. So Chris and I, we actually were part of the starting of a company called and we built sticks. We worked really hard to like to get clientele and stuff like that for them, and you know we worked really hard to get them into the Springs community, and things just didn't work out well. I won't go super deep into that, but I think that kind of like I think that kind of helped for the love of everybody's kind of getting into arcade sticks more, because like back in the day, dude, like for people that don't know, it wasn't like it is now where you could just go to GameStop and buy an arcade stick.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I remember I had the Tekken 5
days.
stick because it came with the game, and like I didn't want it to be a Tekken stick, so I spray painted and I tried to like mask the buttons because you couldn't take the buttons out; they were soldered to the motherboard. So it was like I tried my best to tape it off. It looked awful, dude.
That was like
but
the first like decent stick you could get in states that you didn't have to just straight up import, and those were just the hoary parts. Those weren't even like, and that's not like now with the Hayabusa levers and stuff that people actually want. Nah, that was when it was like those were the knockoff parts, and you wanted to get Sama stuff in there, but you also had to desolder everything if you wanted to do that. Or
and I remember when like Street Fighter 4 was coming out, and like people like. For people that weren't there when Street Fighter 4 kind of came out, it kind of revolutionized things because like FGC was kind of like in a dead spot for a little bit where like we weren't getting new games. Like there wasn't support that we're seeing now. We definitely weren't having $1 million Pro Tour events and things like that. It was like you were playing Third Strike and CVS2 and
And a lot of people play games they did not like because those were the games that people were playing. Like, I know a lot of people that are decent at Third Strike, and they don't like Third Strike at all. It was just Third Strike at the time was the popular game, and so they're like, if I want to play something, I got to play this.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, we started, eventually, ultimately ended up leaving. But Justin is also very similar to us in the sense that, like, he's a huge arcade stick guy. I would probably even say he's beyond Chris and I at this point now.
Definitely. He kept going long after I was done buying new sticks.
Yeah, I got them all on the wall back over here. But
I recently sold off probably 6 or 7, so I still have 4. But I'm curious to see.
I got one in a pop because I let Kenny borrow that razor and I just never asked him about it again. So I don't know what's happened to that. So I got one.
Well, he's in Missouri now. So
what was the razor stick?
It's a Razor Panthera.
The original, the 360 one. I do actually have that one. It's kind of parted out, but I do have that one because I got it for like $60, and I was like, I play on PC most of the time anyway. But
the Panthera's flat though, bro. You could
100%.
open it and like
the original one.
It was revolutionary.
And I had it sitting there.
So
and Kitty needed a stick, and I was like, yeah, just get it to me back whenever. I was like, I'll let you know if I ever need it, and I just never hit him up about it.
I'm sure he'll ship it to you.
I don't care at this point. I mean, I might, but you know what I want.
Dan Aki still has one of my like cases. It was a green one that I don't remember why we had bought it, but he took it for me to modded it, and I never picked it up, and he's had it for like the last 8 years, 9 years. I don't know how long. I gave up on wanting it back at this point, but yeah, and I was also
question, like, so let's deep dive in. Justin, you've owned probably every stick
I've owned most
except one. That I can think of off the top of my head. So what would you say is like your favorite arcade stick of all time?
My favorite of all time would probably be, I have 2 answers. The Fighting Edge. I think the Fighting Edge is just like, there's nothing wrong with that stick. There's literally nothing. And I'm talking.
I stay strapped.
Wait, which one?
Okay.
I was about to ask which one. Like, we talking about the new one?
The 360, the 360? White and black one. The 360, the PS3 that had LED. It had a touchpad sensor on the side. It was so.
I still think about buying one. I check them out on eBay every now and again. I'm like, and I just like, how hard would it be? Because the only thing is like, damn, I would want to take this with me and not just use it at home. So I'm like, how hard?
That's
would
my
it
biggest
be?
complaint. I bought this one on eBay. I recently bought it maybe 4 months ago and was like, man, I love this stick. I got to get it back. And now I'm like, bro, am I really going to travel to a tournament with that thing? Probably not.
I've had my extensive amount of arcade sticks throughout the years, and like traveling is a huge thing for all of us, for any fighting game player in general. And the sticks that I like are sticks that are very not great to travel with, which the Fighting Edge is one, and the other one is way easier. But I like the bigger sticks. Like I like the VLX a lot, and that's just to show. I hate playing on that arcade stick. It feels
so heavy on your
sat in the corner for years, bro.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm not gonna travel with this, and it crushes. Like it literally cuts off circulation to your legs.
It's
so big.
Well, these bigger arcade sticks are better for people like Chris and I that have gigantic hands. It's like, these are good for me. It's good for him. Even though we've played on, the Mad Catz SE stick that's like this big. We've experienced all of them.
I really convinced myself. I was like, no, I prefer this one. And
I remember Chris rocking
these together.
I remember Chris rocking the SE.
But hands rubbing every time I do a motion.
It's like it's the Fighting Edge for sure. And then I think actually I have it right here. The Obsidian
is fire.
This stick is see what I mean? It is everything that a modern stick needs to be.
I think it's funny too because I have a Quamba Obsidian as well. It's in my corner over there. But all 3 of us have one, and all 3 of them are on Nora layouts.
Yes, I had this.
Yeah,
and stop getting Vulex layouts as the default layout. I'm not opposed to Vulex. Just give me more as well when I'm purchasing my stick.
I don't even like the layout. Like, truthfully, I thought I did. I like it for Marvel, and it's just because I like the 2 up, 1 kind of slanted down. Hate it for Street Fighter. I miss, because I put my drive impact on the top right button. I miss it all the time because I use my pinky. I just pinky it, and I miss it all the time. It is driving me nuts.
The best layout to this day is the Astro City Cab. What is it? Player 2.
I think is the 2-player. I think is the one that people like.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so good because it's basically noir, but that last button is shifted up some, so you're not having that issue. Because I do agree that is one of my biggest complaints as well. I've gotten used to it, so I actually slide. Like I don't pinky it. I actually just slide over and use my ring finger for that top button, because that's definitely an issue. So here's another heated debate. You played on leverless for a little bit.
Wait, hold on. Before you finish that, I just want to say one thing. On my wall back over here, let me grab it real quick. Give me 2 seconds.
Yo, he's got the OG, the original
OG
TE.
triple LD.
This is an original TE. I want to show you this. This is important. With the security seal still on. It's never been opened. This is an unused TE.
Bro, we just went back like 16 years,
This
man.
is the Street Fighter 4. Yeah, this thing has...
People that don't know that, like, when that came out, bro, that was like
the
stick, man.
I had to convince Duran, because that was when the sticks are coming out. He's like, I could get this stick. I was like, nah, wait, I promise you. He's like, Mad Cats? I was like, nah, this dude named Markman's working on it. Trust me. And he was like, all right, because that was so. And you, not only that, you was the one who convinced Nick to make sure Hollywood Video had the sticks on hand. Because it was like, man, good thing he told, because they ordered extra because no one.
Bro, I was so mad. So backstory to that. I pre-ordered the TE when I was at the store. I used to go to my buddy Nick's store, where he was way up at the Dublin in Academy. I lived in Widefield, for people that don't. That's like other end of spring. So you're talking probably 25-minute drive.
A good drive.
So
that's why I don't go to the weeklies, because they're all in Fountain.
Yeah. So we would I went up to the store, pre-ordered it. At the time, the guy pre-ordered the SE edition. Bro, I went in that day to pick up Street Fighter 4, and he was like, "Yeah, you got the SE." I was fuming. So luckily Nick, got with a touch with corporate and got another one, and bro, it was bad. I was so hot.
Oh yeah, that's like a Ford Pinto to like a Lamborghini.
right.
Like they're both cars and we both love them, but like, come on, I don't want the Ford Pinto.
I was so I was broke, so I was like, let me get these SEs, and I was convincing myself I was with the SE. I was like, nah, man, it's smaller, you can move it around. Once we learned about the Llama label, I was like, nah, it's just as good. And of course, as soon as I could afford a TE, I was like, nah, bro. I'll have to put my knees together just to play on this thing.
Yeah, bro, my bad. I was lying.
To take it super back, for y'all that don't know, when he was talking about the Lammy label, bro, we used to live in Kinko's. So you would get stuff printed off, and you would put it in like basically like this laminate sheet, and the top sheet was covered, and then the bottom was like adhesive. So we would manually cut these like print layouts and then put them on our stick, like, because we didn't have acrylic and all that shit. It was just like.
It's just a big sticker.
Yeah, because SE has that weird bend, which which probably the reason I was like, no, I like the bend. I like it because it helps with my wrist and everything. I was bullshitting. I didn't have the money to get a stick that really worked for me.
To make yourself feel better.
Yeah, I saw the pictures that Chris posted on Twitter the other day, and I was like, man, I remember asking my mom, because my mom's like super into arts and crafts and stuff. Be like, hey, could you cut this out for me for my arcade stick? And like, I diligently watch my mom to make sure, like, you can't, no, because if there's a cut there, somebody's gonna point it out, and then I'm gonna have to redo it, and I don't want to do that because it takes me 30 minutes to do. And yeah, it's like, man, that was good times. Now, I bought this Hori. What is this even called? So I bought the panel,
the Fighting Stick Alpha.
Yeah, Fighting Stick Alpha, which is the stick that I recommend to anybody to buy if they're getting into fighting games, because it's like $180, so it's relatively cheap. PS5 compatible, but like
Nora layout.
I bought this Nora layout. I bought this Sanwa panel because I was like, oh, this is really cool. I don't have to do art. Did that, bought the buttons, bought everything, and total it was like $260 for everything. You go buy an Obsidian.
I don't know if you see
right now,
Chris, but it opens like the opposite way you think it would open.
Yeah, it opens like forward.
Yeah, it's so weird, dude.
I've seen them. I've been kind of thinking, like, because I do want a second stick.
It's great. I would recommend.
I've been thinking about that, and we'll see what these VM 6 hours costs for the regular stuff. Because man, just that much for a case, but they do look so sick.
ASI, holler at your boy. Like, I'm sitting here patiently waiting, going to their website to see, like, yo, is this ever going to be back in stock? And they've been out of stock since, like, that first initial wave.
Yeah, they're doing just they're shipping all the pre-orders now, and then I think, like, the regular layouts, they said, are probably going to be after Evo Japan.
I don't want to quote Snoop Dogg, but who?
ASI is a company, they
do the golden levers.
Oh, okay.
But they also make their own shells now, and they just came out with like basically like the V2 of their original case, and bro, it's so fire.
Yeah, it looks dope.
And it's what's cool about it is like, so you have like your outer panel, and then it has an inner panel, and that inner panel is interchangeable. So if you want like a different layout, you don't have to buy a whole new shell. You just replace that inside section.
Yeah.
And the biggest turnoff for me was you couldn't do art on it. And then Chris was like, nah, bro, I found it. And he found like a way to do art on it. And I was like, all right, I'm sold.
Once I saw that you could do art, because same thing, because most people they just have them black or white, and then they have like all the gold like buttons or gold lever or whatever. But then I've seen some people that do art, and they basically, it will be like a full face art, because it'll be like the whole outer area. So like kind of like the way that Obsidian has like the panels on the side, it'd be like if you could put art in those panels to have like full face. So
think of like an acrylic stick,
but it looks really cool.
Full edge to edge art.
That's cool.
And then, like I said, you can the button and stick layout can be interchanged. So I almost was like, why don't I just buy these ones with the button layout now, and I'll just swap out one of the. But then I was like, that international shipping.
Yeah.
Chris and I almost bought it together. I think we had this conversation for like 3 weeks. It was like, yo, you pre-ordering one? I don't know, man. You getting one? I don't know, man.
The day it came out, I put it in my cart, and I went, and that international shipping was like $60, and I was like, $60.
And he was like, yo, you want to go in on it with me? We can ship it together.
Plus the overlay, and that's where I was like, those two together was where it's like, bro, I'm paying an extra like $80 for this. I was like, nah, I can't.
And it was just the shell. Like that's not even a complete stick.
It's just a shell, but it looks kind of small. Like, it's a decent size, but travel size. It looks dope. Has a handle. You get the laser on the handle and all that stuff. And you gotta have the laser on the handle. Gotta have. I don't know what I'm gonna put on it. What I'm gonna say on it yet, but I'm putting something on there. I had an idea and I forgot what it was now. I have to go check our DMs to see what I was talking about. But yeah, they look dope.
All right, to stay on track. So, I know Justin dabbled in leverless sticks for a little bit. So let's hear your thoughts on it, because you played arcade stick, you went leverless, and you came back to arcade stick. So I'm curious to see what your thought on it, because you're talking to two pro stick people our whole careers. I have a leverless, like dabbled in it. I was like, oh, this is cool, and that was it. Like,
I barely accept extra buttons.
I'll give you my regular answer that it's family friendly, and my other answer. Regular answer, play what you want to play. If you want to play on, a turtle shell covered in 15 buttons, do what you want to do. Whatever makes you happy and more comfortable and more accessible to play, do that. I don't think anything necessarily can give you an advantage. Like, no type of controller can give you more of an advantage over something else if you're not comfortable with it. Because for me, I played Hitbox for, I think, 2 years while I was playing Dragon Ball, or however long I played Dragon Ball for. I don't remember. I played it for after the first 2 years, I played it on Hitbox, and it made my game go significantly higher because I suck at doing instant air dashes. So it helped me, and I was like, sweet, I wonder if this can apply to other games. Tried playing Marvel, tried playing Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, hated it. Wasn't for me. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't really care about Dragon Ball anymore, so am I really going to try to force myself to stick with a Hitbox because I've been playing on it? Like, no, if I can play on stick and I'm more comfortable, just go with what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
So anytime someone asks me, well, what do you think's better? I'm like, whatever you want. It's a stupid answer maybe to you, or like it's not a good answer, but like truthfully, play whatever makes you feel comfortable, because you're not going to enjoy yourself if you're out there playing on a Hitbox and it's a miserable time and you're like, well, at least I did good. Like, did you? You had a terrible time and you might have maybe done a little bit better. Like, I suggest everybody to try out any form of playing, because I've played on pad, I've played on Hitbox, I've played on stick, played on keyboard. Keyboard was actually very fun, surprisingly. But
people also nowadays look for like an easy win button.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that stickless is easy or leverless is easy or anything like that, but like, I think oftentimes new players kind of look for that, where it's like, oh, I'm not picking this up the way I wish I could be, it must be because I'm not playing on leverless. So then they'll go and play leverless, and they're like, "Yo, well, I should try controller, or I should try arcade stick, or something along those lines." And it's like, I mean, fighting games are hard. They're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Play with what you're comfortable with and stick to it.
I don't want to say they say that, or maybe but I don't want, because I don't know where the origin comes from, but it definitely feels like Hitbox, and maybe no, actually I think it is the way they kind of advertised it. They made it seem like Hitbox was a shortcut.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well,
having
they
access
kind
to
of
that
do
make it seems like, yeah.
Certain things you can do on Hitbox that like you can't do on an arcade stick. Like for instance, when I went to Evo last year, I was talking to Angelic and he was showing me on the cross up, which the cross up, for people that don't know, is like a hybrid Hitbox arcade stick, right? It's supposed to be like the future, but then it got banned from every event. So then
that abomination,
kind of put a plug in it.
I didn't even know it was banned.
So there's a thing with Shuma that you can do is if you're holding, I believe it's if you're holding back button and you're dashing forward and you press forward in an attack button, you'll get instant like frame perfect charge input. And so it's with any character that has charge input in Marvel. But you cannot do that on an arcade stick because you can't hold back while moving forward. So it's just little things like that I'm like, that's not very fair. And I think if like current fighting games had something like that, they would just stop it. And I could be like misunderstanding it too. Like if I'm misunderstanding it and someone wants to correct me, like please by all means. But
because like I remember control players had this.
Yeah,
like, I don't know
I
if
was
you
about
guys
to say that.
remember
Remember HDR and Guile, where you could hold like your D-pad and your joy were like two different inputs, so you could literally you could
so like I remember watching
back
like
with the
Snake
joystick
Eyes, and he could walk forward in SPD. Because of that, like he would walk with the D-pad and then SPD with like the joystick. So
that's not fair. That stuff like that should not be allowed. But then my non-family friendly answer is I've fucked people up with arcade stick, with hitbox, with pad, with a fishing pole. It doesn't matter. You're gonna get beat up either way. Just it makes no clear advantage.
My answer
but
is
I'm
a lever and 6 buttons as the Lord intended.
Yes, I'm truthful. I've seen the way. I've changed my hellish thoughts, and now I'm only an arcade stick player.
Oh,
again.
hallelujah!
I just want to see all these people
praise Mark,
play on other things and craziness. I want to see them have a tournament once, and it's on an arcade cabinet, and it's like, what you gonna do, bro?
Yeah, I always think it's funny when I'm like, okay, well, if we're playing Third Strike on this cab, like, what about the guys like I played on pad? I'm like, fuck you. That's it.
that one is the one, like I joke and I mostly joke because at this point it's too late. You kind of accept it. It is what it is. And then so when it comes to that, I do think if I had a choice, I think everything should be on stick, because I think even though we're not in the arcade, the whole origin of this was replicating the experience of the arcade. So in my heart of hearts, I do think it should be that. It should be close to the arcade. But also, I'm down with accessibility, and if more people need that to play, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I do draw the line. I hate the cabinets that have the inputs. I do not like that. It feels like they are defacing something.
Like it's got like a plug-in?
Like a USB or something.
The cabinets with the USB plugins, I do not like. It don't feel right, bro.
I think it's lame, but it's also like that's very good for everybody. Like everybody benefits.
We're trying to restore the feeling.
That's very 2024.
We're trying to restore the feeling,
100%.
and I get it, and I'm like, and does it bother me that much? Not really, but I do not like it. It feels like it was the last. I think that's what it was. It felt like it was the last line. Leave that last thing alone. It did not. They had to deface our origins.
I was a non-believer in John Shogun using Hitbox because I watched him. We went to this last monthly. He was there. I was there. And I was watching him play, and I was like, "Huh, he's dropping stuff he normally like wouldn't drop. Like this is a very weird showing of him because I think he did really good. He got third, but in the match he was playing another DJ player, and for whatever reason, this tournament was 3 out of 5 the whole entire time for Street Fighter. I don't know if that's like the standard now, but that's awful.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it. Street Fighter 6 is very fast.
I'm very opposed to it. Keep it 2 out of 3, like the Lord intended. Anyway, but he was like 1-1 with another DJ player. I'm like, John's way better than this guy. What is he doing? And it's like he's like, oh, I'm just adjusting and filling things out and yada yada yada. I'm like, all right. He goes up, he plays a DJ or a Chun-Li player, and loses the first round. Picks Guile, and I saw the most expertise masterclass guile I have ever seen in my life. John was picking this dude apart frame by frame perfectly. Didn't mess a single thing up. It was phenomenal. I'm like, all right, John just has it like that on hitbox, on stick.
John's a very calculated player, so
he is 100%. And I was blown away. I was like, all right, well, I was very wrong, so I'm just gonna shut up and watch John.
I'm happy to see him playing Guile characters like that because I know traditionally he played like Abel and Laura and stuff like that, and I never felt like those were his characters. Like he played them well. I mean, shit, he was winning tournaments all the time. But like, if I was to pick a character, I could Guile, DJ. I could definitely see John playing because it's like, yo, you messed up once. This is gonna hurt a lot, kind of thing. So
yeah.
All right, to try to kind of change gears away from the heated debate of leverless versus stick, we're gonna switch into. I think it's something a little bit more fun. So if you could have any fighting game made, like not like like for me example, like I'd love to see a Capcom All-Star Fighter made where it's like plays like Marvel but it's just Capcom characters and they could do like guest characters like Smash, stuff like that. What would your game be? But it has to be like a continuation, so like CVS 3 or Marvel 4 or whatever.
Because I was definitely about to be like Bleach fighting game made by Arxis. It was about to be what I was about to say.
Well, I wish in general Arxis would make more DBZ Fighters, Guilty Gear Strive type games. Like, please stop making these anime arena fighters.
I know the Jujutsu Kaisen game was the #1 refunded game on Steam. Like this year or last year, I can't remember. It was terrible. Marvel 4. I mean, that's easy for me. Like another Marvel game would be great. Or give us more Marvel Infinite, somehow revive that game because I'm, again, big fan of that.
I think Infinite just struggled because it looked like Boo Boo.
Well, that was
I like Infinite, and it definitely had a thing, but I don't. But once like the word got out, it wasn't going to be supported. I think that's when everyone dropped it because I think I personally, and I played Black Panther, so I had to like the game to keep playing it. And part of me was like, come on, am I going to be the guy that drops Black Panther? I can't do that. So
was Black Panther not good? I'm assuming.
No, he was not. He felt not done.
Yeah, a lot of those, like, the DLC characters that came out, most of them felt very unfinished or, like, undiscovered. Like, Black Widow, her Monster Hunter. Those characters were very, like, nobody took the time to do it because, like Chris said, the lack of support, and then also Dragon Ball came out, like, 2 months after the last DLC's characters came out, so it was like, well, why are we playing shit Marvel if we can play Dragon Ball Marvel? And it's like, which it's not, but
we had got the word kind of like legally and everything with the rights and the whole thing because we were already like the fact that it even came out, people were kind of like, wow, I can't believe it came out, because everyone was talking about the licensing with the MCU versus the game and all that good stuff.
I remember that.
But when the game came out and then we got like, again, word kind of got around, there was no support because bro, I love Jeddah. Jeddah is one of my favorite characters ever. I play him in BSAV. I play him in any game he's in. And I was like, damn, this feels like how he should play, is how he should be. Like, it felt like I was playing Vampire Savior in HD. And I was like, man, it felt so good. And it'd be like, so I was really having fun with the game. I played it a whole lot. And then once I got the news, I was like, there's no support. Well, I'm like, well, there's definitely stuff that needs to be rectified in this game, and we know we're not going to get it. And Black Panther legit felt unfinished. Yeah. And I was like, ugh. So then we got Dragon Ball like right after. So I was like, well, why would I even bother?
I got the Marvel Infinite Collector's Edition in the garage
right now. Easter eggs, bro.
The eggs, bro. Next to my fishing poles. Yeah, it's. We don't got to talk about.
Those are gems, bro.
Yeah, definitely. The picture looks so good. The
Collector's Edition didn't look good.
No, it was awful. But yeah, Marvel 4 would be great, or like a continuation of Marvel Infinite, like that same style. Because I like the 2v2, I like the gem system, I liked a lot of the stuff in the game.
That was my biggest turnoff. That was actually 2 games that I never gave like a fair chance that a lot of people in the community say are amazing. Is Marvel Infinite and then Street Fighter Cross Tekken. And
I didn't
huge turnoffs for me, and both of them was the gem things. Yeah. I was just like, bro, I don't care about.
So,
like, I just want to.
And then Cross Tekken got fixed, but it took too long for it to get fixed.
Well, and also, how do you repair from like all these 16 DLC characters, 13 DLC characters, something like that? It's like, oh, we have all these DLC characters that are coming out periodically. They're already all in the game, but in a couple months we'll give you unlock codes to play your characters that you bought. It's like, what? That's such a stupid marketing idea. Like that, it made it tank, even though the game itself wasn't terrible. But I was gonna say, to you saying, "Oh, I didn't try Marvel Infinite. I didn't try Cross Tekken." When I tried the League of Legends fighting game, I felt like it took everything good from both of those games and put it into one fighting game.
I'm excited for 2XKO.
I'm saying Project
I'll
L.
watch. It's Project L, bro. Mama call him Project L. I'm gonna call him Project L.
Yeah, I had known nothing about League of Legends. I'm never going to learn anything about League of Legends.
Bro, you should.
That's why I'm kind of just keeping an eye on it, because I have no interest in League. I don't care. I don't care for RTS games in general. So like I'm not here. So I will kind of keep an eye on it and see what happens, because I mean, the same thing happened with me at Grand Blue. I don't know. I don't play MOBA games. Have no interest, whatever.
So let me ask you guys this: Have
Wait,
either one of you guys watched Arcane?
I gotta let Mac out real quick. So give me like.
I've heard it was good, but same thing. It's like I don't care. Like these characters mean nothing to me.
I will say watch Arcane and come back to me, because so I started playing League of Legends to play with a few friends. Brittany and I started playing it. The game is super difficult. I mean, it's one of those. The game's been out for 10 plus years or whatever. And it's never like, oh, a League of Legends 2 or anything like that. They just keep giving continued support to it. So it's not like, oh, it's a new game and you're having, I mean, you learn new stuff, but like, it's hard because the game's been out for forever. So it's like, you're going up against people that like, yo, go play people that play Third Strike that actually play Third Strike still. Like, that learning curve, you're going to be there for a while.
You should have seen me at Jazzy Finale. It took me, I don't think I got a game off anyone till Sunday. Like I was like, oh, and whatever until Sunday when I finally started like getting a few games off of people.
Yeah. Riding the bike came back finally.
Like, and I just said fuck it, and I was like, I guess I'm walking. I think that's what it was. I stopped trying to ride the bike, and I was like, I guess I'm just gonna walk. I can walk.
Yeah. So I got into League of Legends to play with a few friends. Ultimately, never ended up playing it, but got into like Arcane, and like I really got into a few characters that like I have like a bunch of Echo stuff and stuff like that, and I don't even play like the game, but like I love the character. So to see him in Project L, it's like I can't wait, bro, because like they did such a good job with him, like with his reverse mechanic and things like that. So it's so cool to see, and like it's something that like I can't wait to play, because I do think it being Riot, I have a lot of faith in them because they haven't done anything bad yet.
I'll watch it, keep an eye. I'm not gonna lie, I'm so hesitant on a game that Marlon Pie has a hand in, because I mean that means there's gonna be some wild shit in that game.
Yep, 100% it's going to be. It is. I'm ready for it to be ridiculous. I've seen some of this stuff so far, and I'm trying not to, but I'm like, this is year 3 stuff that I'm watching, and the game isn't out for another probably year.
Yeah, I think at least like mid, maybe late 2025, and I'm like, and you got Kyohei and Clock working on this,
and Apology Man. Apology Man's on it too. So you got people that know Marvel that are going to try to make it Marvel influenced,
and know the difficult stuff too. Like they know like the neat stuff. So like the character, like no one had a Strider Doom like Clock. No one had a Firebrand like Apology Man. No one had a Doom like Marlon Pie, or Viper, or Amy. So like they're gonna be some stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be, and everyone's like, oh, it's got easy inputs, and I'm like, bro, just wait. You'll be happy that it has easy inputs on some shit.
I didn't even play in this. I didn't even play it. Oh,
I'm sure he didn't. The guy with the half sleeve Amy or full sleeve Amy.
Yeah, bro, I was about to say, put some respect on my time. Full sleeve. Full.
That's such a quotable thing, to put some respect on my name. That's so good. I hate Charlemagne. Sorry.
Justin's would be Marvel 4.
Yeah.
Chris, what game do you want?
Oof.
Well, you think mine would be
Melty Blood.
Mine would be CVS 3 for sure.
CVS, damn, that's a good one too. Marvel 4 is a good one. CVS 3 is a good one. But I think if I'm going off, it's gonna be between up. No, I actually no. Let me get yeah, let me get a new Marvel and put the Vampire Savior characters in the game. Because I was
I
gonna,
agree.
yeah, so that's what I prefer. Let me get a new Marvel. Let me get the Vampire Savior characters in the game. Let's. I don't want to necessarily say Infinite style, though I did like Infinite. The main issue I always have with Marvel games or in any games where, like, if you don't get a shot, if it's a two touch, three touch game, I'm cool with that. But any game where it's like, bro, you don't really get a chance. Block this. You got hit once, now you're getting zeroed. You got hit once, now you're getting Virgil. You got hit once, now like that. Those games, I can't do that. But anytime you get a shot, you get a chance, like with like Infinite, where you can like you can tag in, you have different options, something like that. I did that. So yeah, let me get Marvel 4 or Infinite 2.
I don't know
And
what you're talking about, man. All those players were Virgil fans.
I mean, Virgil's mad cool,
Eh,
but the fact that, bro, I did like for that brief, I don't know what brief period people everyone's talking about Marvel, and I actually installed it long enough to like learn like the proper like Virgil combos now with the round trip infinites and stuff. I was like, wow, this is so crazy. Any hit get you assist at OTGs, and now you're dead off a
yeah.
like for a bar, maybe 2 bars, and you're building 2 bars during the combo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to when we went to Evo last year. I played Marvel just because it was like, yo, it's back. Like I'm gonna if they're gonna do these retro games, I'm gonna show support for it. Especially like Marvel 3. I love that game. I haven't played it in probably 10 years. Like actually played it. I went 1 and 2, and I beat my first dude, and I was so happy. I was like, "Girl, I just need one, dog." Like, and then I played against the Zero May Cry team, and it was like, bro, this game has evolved so far compared to like
Yeah.
when we were playing it just for fun, kind of thing.
Like,
Yeah, the meta
bro,
is
the
ever
fact that,
changing still.
yeah, it's like nothing like once you can learn. Because I remember when that combo first got found, and people were like, "What the fuck?" I was like, because they found it in Marvel One, it just didn't like it was like it actually wasn't even optimal back then, and then
Hmm.
Marvel do like or Ultimate, and then like they figured out how to get it every time off the
Bro, I didn't even get
assists,
to play the
every
game.
hit.
Like I would come in and it'd be like zero lightning shit on the screen, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yo, I blocked the wrong way," and it was like, "You're dead."
Yep.
Yep.
Welcome to your 300%.
Yeah.
Yep. And then
And like his homie was
and I
like
got
hyping
meter
him up, and I'm
positive.
just sitting there like, yeah, like,
Yeah,
bro.
it's always so weird to me when someone like when obviously you have someone that doesn't really play the game and you're getting fucked up. It's like, yeah, you're fucking it up. Like, obviously, yeah.
Right.
I make $100,000 a year. I'm not. What do you have? Fuck. I love. It's my favorite excuse now that we're all over 30 years old. It's like if I lose, I'm like, at least I have a good paying job.
I ain't
I
making
got a
100
real
though,
job.
so
That's why I suck at this
I ain't
game.
making
I
100,
know.
so I still need to win.
All right,
That's why I
so
won last time. I was like, I ain't making 100. I need to go home with something.
we're coming up to time, so we have a couple of the questions here. So, I think this is a little bit deeper thought knowledge question is what do you want to accomplish that you still have not within FGC? Not life, bro. I don't like we ain't got to go that deep. I don't need to hear about your super personal goals that you
I
haven't
just told you
accomplished.
I ain't making 100 yet, so
For me, I think it's like I just want to make sure that when I'm not in this scene, people are like, "Remember him? Remember Justin? Like he was cool. Like that was a cool guy." Like I'm not gonna win Evo. I know that. I'm
I'm
not
gonna
gonna.
totally like do a song over of the Hulk music. Doo, 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 when Justin
I
says,
know it's
"I
sad,
just
but
want
like
to be remembered."
realistically, like you go through, like there's so many people that are like, I don't know that guy. I don't remember that guy. But like if I go to Denver, there's 30 people like, oh yeah, I know True Tech. Oh, I know Half Row. I know. Well, not me as much, but some of them know me. It's like we've made an impact to where like there's a lot of people that know who we are because we might have had like you know we might have won tournaments in the past or like we're a good person or whatever. We helped out with tournaments and like I just want to make sure that like I'm not somebody that's just like, oh yeah, this must be a new guy because I got humbled and that happened when Street Fighter 6 came out. I was on stream and the two commentators, some no, not gonna say nobody, some new people that I don't know them, they don't know me, and they're like, "Oh, I've never heard of Coffee before. He must be a new guy." I'm like, I've won more tournaments than you've entered. Okay, I've been here, and that humbled the hell out of me. So I was like, you know what? I need to make sure that these people like know me, and not even as a good player, but as a good person.
Yeah.
So
Colorado's grown so much though. Like I remember when I first moved, I would come back pretty frequently to go to tournaments and things like that. And now I probably come back every other year, something along those lines, to tournaments. And every time I'm there, I'm like, bro, who the hell are these people? Like,
I'm like that now, and I'm not like active. I probably go to like once a quarter. I get up to Aki. I'm not like up there all the time like I used to be. So I'm not here, but even then, I'm still like that now. I'm still like I don't. People be like, "Hey, True Tech," and I just keep it. I'll be like, "Hey, what's up?" and then keep it moving. But I'm like, I don't know that dude's name.
oh, I've had that happen tons of time where I'm like, I don't know who that is, but they remember me.
Yeah, I just say hi, keep it moving, and sometimes they'll be like, they'll remind me who they are, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Sometimes, but then I'll be like, as they don't say, I just be like, hey, how you doing? You still in tournament? Yeah, and then I keep it moving, and I'm like, who?
Yeah, at the last big tournament, I think it was Akazeme. I think that's what it was. The most recent, like, oh no, it was Winter Showdown. Uh, I was like thinking about it like a couple weeks prior. I was like, you know what? There's so many people that I don't know in this community, and I don't want to just fade into obscurity. And like, the group of 5 people that know me are like, hey, it's Justin. Like, I want to know who these people are. So I volunteered to TO. I TO'd for Dragon Ball and Street Fighter. And, I met so many people I've never heard of before. Like, tons of people I've never known that we shook hands, I introduced myself, and it's like I'm making those impressions that they like, okay, this guy is a TO, or he's like helping, he's friendly, yada, yada, yada. Like, I'm trying to make a good impression that these people, like, every time I go to events, I can see people, I can make new friends, and I can kind of like be more involved with the community because I feel like and this goes for all of us in 2013, 2014, 15, 16, we were so involved with the community. Everybody knew who we were. Now when I go to an event, I'm like, I know these 8 people and these other 49 people. I couldn't tell you who they are, what they play, anything. And I don't like that. I like our scene's big now for sure, but it's not so big. but but it's like, we're not big enough to not know who these people are to some extent, because it's like, it's not as big of a thing as it used to be, but it was so split where it's like you got anime people, Street Fighter people, Marvel people, and then the swagglers, like the KOF people, the MK
like,
people.
Tekken was like Tekken's still kind of sort of like that. You can't really separate anymore, really, because Aki is Aki, and so everyone wants to use it. But before, Tekken was almost like its own separate scene. Like I didn't like Tekken player. Like you weren't really running Tekken at Street Fighter tournaments. Tekken was like its own separate thing, and now it's like everyone is combined. And so like there are Tekken players. I don't know who. I know Sang because Sang's been around since forever. I remember Pit Viper because I mean she was a 16-year-old girl when she moved here, and she's now she lives in Hawaii, I think. But like then outside of that, I remember Knox back in ATL.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
And that's because he hung out with he crossed over. He would come hang out with us. Combo Breaker when we all went, and he was hanging out with us. Outside
he was
of
there
that,
when we went to Devastation. Him and what was his name? His name's Aaron. I can't remember his fighting game handle, but it was a weirder one.
Brown
He played.
Cycle?
No. That's no. What was his name? It was. I can't remember, but he's a Denver player. His kids are into wrestling now. That's all I know. We're friends on Facebook. But
all right, well, while you resurface your old boomer brain, Chris, let me.
I don't remember.
What's something you haven't accomplished? I make this joke because Justin is the youngest, like, out of our group. So
I know. I miss being the baby and being like an actual like. I'm the little guy. I don't know anything. Now I'm 30 and I have to pay taxes and it sucks.
Let's see. Like I said, the number we did with Shogun, I definitely said fighting like in game wise, I want to get top 80 major. I don't have a top 80
that's
major.
right. I remember that.
But I wouldn't say outside of that. One thing I've been thinking about, and I think I probably told both of you about the project I want to do. Here I want to say that I don't want to give details because I want to make sure I actually get progress before I give details outside of people. I told people about it, but it's more about making sure people either like documenting and remembering the scene. I think, which is why I think this is dope that we do this. When we were working our way up to Jazzy finale, and I was talking with Mutant XP, and he does Mutant Experience, which is the same thing. He does a podcast where he interviews Stir Strike players, and he's like, it's all about just preserving kind of like the history of the FGC because we are moving so quickly. We've moved so far from our roots. It's not as grassroots as it more. We don't have our forums anymore, so you don't really have things to point to talk about history and anything like that, which is why I posted those pictures like the other day because I was like, man, this Image Shack has stuff from like 2010 on here. Look at this. It's just a picture of Brandon wiring and stick, but I'm like, man, that's still a little piece of history. So I think that's kind of like just recording like and documenting our FGC and like kind of looking back. So I think that's kind of like what I outside of playing, and I'm still like I said, I do too good to just stop playing. Because if I wasn't doing well, I probably just focused just on that. But because I keep doing decent, I keep playing. But that I think is I'm gonna just figure out how to keep my focus on both. But just documenting and then old stories. You know what? How about this? Let's talk about if you're on here, and I'm gonna find a YouTube clip. There's an old Colorado documentary that Ghost Dog made called
Oh, I
Ikuze,
remember that.
and
Yeah.
it's about them going down to I think it was Texas Showdown. It was like Texas Showdown one year, I think it was, and they recorded everything, and I think stuff like that is really dope. And I'll try to find it, and if he doesn't have
Yeah,
it on
I've
there,
always wanted to do a documentary, like a Colorado documentary, because
yeah,
I feel like Colorado and Nebraska and Arizona and like all these places have like good scenes, and you
mm,
just don't hear about it that often because it's not like Cali and New York and Florida and stuff like that.
yeah.
So I do agree with that.
So,
I've always wanted to do a documentary
well,
where like maybe one year I go to Evo and I decide like, oh, I'm gonna start recording right after Evo, and I'm recording all the way through Evo, and it kind of focuses on like the lesser known people within the FGC, because like there's a ton of great FGC documentaries out there, but like a lot of it is well known players.
yeah.
And like, not that I have anything against them, but it's just like, man, like I want to, like, the FGC is made by a lot of people, man. Like,
That's why I'm
and
selling
these
my
well known
camera.
players aren't going to be there or getting paid what they're getting paid if it isn't for, you know, the pot monsters and the other people that are playing that are competitive, and
Yeah.
they may not have as big of a scene as Cali, so they don't get to put that
And we
time
got
in that
just
other people
this
do.
place at this time, like it's now it's here. Like I said, now I have if I don't have the knowledge of it, I have the equipment. I got I got cameras here so I can take photos whenever I'm shooting on this one. I'm selling this so I can get a slightly upgraded one so I have a better screen on it because I want to be able to just run and gun and shoot with it because I do think just recording that kind of stuff and keeping it and I'll be watching like just like yeah like there's a lot of history especially now because like I'm the old head now like at this point it's CJ and me are the only like active who are active at that like that time.
Yeah,
Skills still plays, but like Skills isn't showing up to tournaments for the most part. Is got a busy life.
sounds
So
like we got a
like yeah,
Marauders documentary dropping in 2025.
like I'm definitely I got the mini doc idea that I already told you guys about. I think I told both of you about the mini doc idea I have, but I definitely want to do like more recording and yeah. So I'm literally selling. I have two of the same camera I'm selling, so I can get an upgraded one, so I can do a little bit better video, and
That's
between
awesome.
these two. So that's what it is. Just kind of documenting our community so it doesn't get lost.
Documenting. Okay, real quick. I know we've talked about this with John as well, but I'm just sitting here thinking about it. And I think I would love to run like a major, like, event. Like, I know I've done a lot of stuff for Colorado where like, we had that $1,000 payout winner for that Street Fighter tournament that I did. But like, I would love to run a major and get to a level where we are doing, maybe it is like Rewired, like Arizona had, or Devastation, or something along those lines.
Not
I don't,
Devastation.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Definitely
say
not
I don't think it will
devastation, but we
happen.
pay people.
No, 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 definitely not that.
Shout outs to Jedi Rom.
But yeah, Rewired was, bro. I still to this day one of the funnest tournaments we went to was
Yep,
Rewired. Like I don't have the friendship I have with Ryan if we don't do Rewired.
yep.
Like to the fact where like
We're walking around with him, so
yeah, like
That's how
Rewired
I felt
literally
about
brought us together.
Combo Breaker. Combo Breaker with him and I.
Oh,
Him and I, like, before I knew who he was, but then Combo Breaker, he showed me all of the Chicago stuff. It was like a great experience. And if you guys are talking about like Ryan, I don't
yeah,
know his last name.
Stone Cold.
Ryan was
Yeah,
it?
big fan of
Yeah, I
Stone
don't know how
Cold
to
Steve
pronounce his
Austin.
last name actually. It's like Mier. It's
Yeah, I know it's an M.
M-E-I-E-R. So
Shout outs to white
it's
people.
probably like it's probably like Mayor.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
we're well past an hour.
I'm so sorry.
But that's always great because
That's because we be
that means we
rambling.
had good
I be
convo.
rambling.
Yeah,
good conversation tonight. So we know it's Thursday, so we're super excited to see everybody tonight at Community
I'm gonna
Night.
try to actually show up for once. I haven't shown up in like a month. And last time I showed up, it was like right at the end, so I just got on and watched some people play, and then everyone's like, "All right, GG's."
Bro, I played. There's a person in our community now. Their name is. Let me see if I can find them real quick. Their name is Chobit, and they play Jury, and that was like the first time that we did a community night that somebody in our community played Jury, and they came and they was busting my ass, bro. And I was like, I have so much to learn, bro. I think I won one game. I think it was like 3-1, something like that. But it was just like, I mean, they had actual feng shui engine combo stuff, and I was like, yeah, I definitely don't have that kind of thing. But it was cool. Like, I didn't leave salty or anything. It was like, yo, I have so much to learn. And it's funny because we have a ton of new people within the community now, and I play with these new people, and they're like, yo, you're so good, and I'm like, but I'm not. You think I'm good because you're new and I'm whooping your ass. So, but like when you actually start playing the game, you'll see that I have really bad tendencies that I do and things like that. But I just want to give a huge thanks to Justin for joining us. I think this was actually pretty well suited, so maybe we might have him on again in the future.
You get me in, I'm ready to ramble. I'm good at making a sidetrack, 100%, dude.
He's definitely the first guest that we've had to go let the dog out in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah, I was like, oh, maybe they can cut it out, and then I realized I'm like, this is all recorded right now. Well,
I mean,
all right.
Yeah, we just kept talking. I mean, if we really had to pause, we can always pause and cut. But nah.
Yeah.
Look, man, he's 14. He's a grandpa. He can't hold it in. I'm not trying to have him explode.
So stop by Battle Hub 23 tonight. We'll be there. I'm always excited to teach new people. And then we also made a couple of upgrades into like the audio chats. So we have like one-on-one sections, because I know community night can be like crazy and everybody's in there just talking and it gets kind of hectic, but we made new chats. So if you want to talk to somebody like, oh, hey, I don't know this matchup, just PM them or write in Street Fighter, and then you guys can jump down to the one-on-one chats, because it is intimidating and, it does get quite hectic in there sometimes. So, but thanks again to Justin. Of course, it's always a pleasure being here with Chris. Look forward to seeing you guys all tonight. See you guys on the next one.
Peace. Say peace Tuesday.
Oh,
peace.